What up, everybody? It's your boy Evan, one half of MF Pearl. We got the other half sitting behind the camera, making sure that we rolling. We got David back there. Oh shit! Hold on, one more time.
Wow.
He said, "Hey everyone," but I lowered it. I had to mute it real quick. And you know what it is, man? Every Wednesday, Legends Only in the Building, Volume 2, live at MFHQ. Disclaimer. Live at MFHQ is in fact not recorded live. It's actually a pre-recorded program. This episode contains sexually explicit content, so feel free to do what you wish with that information. If you could be so kind of like, follow, and subscribe for me. We go a very long way. New episodes every Wednesday. Now back to the show. Yes, sir. Hey, man, make sure you guys keep showing love to the channels. You can find all of our full-length episodes on our YouTube channel, MF Pearl. You can catch Midnight Sessions live at MFHQ. You can find all those episodes, though, on our website as well, mfpearl.com. But if you're catching these podcast episodes on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, make sure you guys show love on those platforms. Give it a rating, share it, give it 5 stars, save it, like it. Whatever you can do to show love, man, it helps us and it goes a long way. But yeah, hey, let's get back to the episode. I'm getting real quick with my intros. It's getting cool and efficient. Hey, man, today we got a modern day legend in the building. Here in El Paso, he barely needs any introduction. His work has become a staple of our city. Literally, the work features our Frontera's beautiful skylines, our skyscapes. And as he's established his style in this realm, he's also continued to grow his portfolio. Especially now, as of late, you can catch a lot of his work spanning into the world of videography. His photo career has evolved from simply capturing the beauty of our city to creating strong collaborations with some of the city's other forward-moving figures. And the projects that he's starting to get become a part of are of a much bigger scope now. And it's great to see that growth because creators fade in and out of the spotlight here in El Paso, but the trajectory and foundation that our guest has built under his ongoing endeavors is something that a lot of us can gain from hearing about how that goes. And so, we're really grateful for the opportunity to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, live at the HQ, we welcome Christian Iglesias, but as we all may know him here in the Sun City, Christian Churches. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
It's a big time honor, dude. Your work's amazing, and you have so much work for there to just be like so much to digest.
Thank you.
It's a great opportunity to have you here.
Appreciate it.
Cheers to Christian. Today we're sipping on some mezcal. You know how it is, but 33, man, episode 33. Thank you. It's an honor.
Cheers, brother.
Yes, we rarely ever do cheers. It's new.
Cheers.
We're evolving all the time. Christian.
Smooth, man.
It's all right. We're not sponsored. You can lie. Or you could be honest. You could say it's pretty rough.
Nah, it's pretty good for mezcal. That's pretty good.
Christian, I know that you had mentioned you were having a pretty busy week.
Yeah.
In this entire season of life that this entire photo career has been building and really thriving off of. How has this entire time been for you, man? Like, if you have the opportunity to kind of like reflect for a moment, like what do you feel when you look back on like where you're at right now and where you're going?
It's been fun, man. It's been very interesting because for the first time in a long time, I guess I really don't have a 9 to 5. I know a lot of people, a lot of artists in town, they do the 9 to 5 and they grind it out like 5 to 10, on their passion. Mm-hmm. But thankfully since around like July, I've been full on just in this endeavor. It's been a very, very fruitful season, very meaningful season to learn from. I've done a lot of random stuff, man. A few weeks ago, I did a ride-along with Border Patrol for a project with a friend. And then days later, I'm shooting artists, doing murals in Central. And then the DJ, doing some cool beats at Deserto Pizza. It's been really, honestly, like a fun time.
Man. That moment in July when it became almost like your full-time position now, your full-time career, what was that like? Was it a leap that you were taking in that moment, or was it more of like an easy transition? And from, I assume, what was like work into just focusing full-blown on photo and video?
It was a pretty easy transition. I had worked out of corporate America for the full year of 2023, and again, just grinding it out, like whenever I was off, weekends, collaborating with people. And I had taken a position with a company where I was able to do creativity full time. And that led into this just me full time, which is nice because I don't know. I love the corporate side of things, but at the end of the day, all the hard work that you like that I'm doing now, it's for me. It's like not for anybody else, you know? Like I'm
Did-
not working for anyone else's wallet, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
you know?
man. Did you ever feel like your creativity was just you were about to burst out of these boundaries that were being placed by being kind of like under an employment structure?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, though, it was a lot of the long game. Because I mean, I've been I've been grinding it out since 2021 outside of the corporate side, outside of the 9 to 5. So I think I was really prepping myself for this season to where I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm running and gunning. Like, I have a lot of projects that thankfully I'm doing really well. I'm not feeling that jump from like a 9 to 5 to full time like creativity. And yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. It's been fun, man. It's a lot of fruitful stuff. You know, like I truly believe that you do good work, the good work is going to come back onto you. And I'm just very blessed. The past 3 years, I feel like I've been doing good work, and now I'm reaping those benefits right now. But I know there's a lot more to come. You know?
Oh, that's good, man. That's good to hear. Really happy for the career so far, man. It's exciting to see where it's gonna go to. As far as how was I gonna word this question? It was around I think it was around under the employment, but I just need to gather that. We'll table that question for later, but um, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of
Yeah,
it,
let's
man.
do it.
The drone photography,
Yeah,
man. So when you first pick up photography,
yeah.
I'm gonna assume it wasn't drone.
It wasn't drone. No, I first picked up photography in high school, like most folks here in town. I went to Eastwood, class of 17.
Like most folks.
Like most folks in town.
Yeah.
Funny enough, man, I know there's a lot of friends I have, like people that work at the El Paso Times, that they're doing some great stuff. That they went to Eastwood with me, you know, like, and it's pretty crazy to see how much
Oh
you
yeah.
grow with these peers, you know. But nah, I started photography newspaper at Eastwood my sophomore year, so I was around like 14, 13.
What's
So.
the first opportunity to dive into what you're arguably most known for, drone photography? When does this happen?
That happens senior year of high school. My video tech teacher, who I'm very close friends with now, his name's Dan Martinez. He had a DJI Phantom 3. And back in the day, the DJIs were the big, bulky ass drones,
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
with the handles, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, we flew it in the football field, and that was my first taste of drone photography. And I fell in love with it, you know, and especially growing up watching Casey Neistat, seeing him fly his drone around New York City, you know, like it's something that I was very intrigued by. A long gap in between. I flew that drone like in 2017, and then I bought my first drone around 2019, 2020. And then from there, just flew that thing every day.
You still have the same one, or what does your lineup look like at the moment?
So right now I'm rocking a DJI Air 3. I had an Air 2S, and that was my first drone that I had purchased. I flew that guy for multiple years, but I just upgraded because the capabilities now with the newer drones are really cool. You know, like instead of a wide open lens on the drone, you can have the ability, it's like multi-camera, so you can do a telephoto. And for any of photographers out there, telephoto gives you so much depth of field, and it just makes for like really unique scenery shots, you know?
Man, so that's how we do it.
Yeah.
You're shooting with a telephoto.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
This isn't a zoom though. This
It's
is
not
an
a
entirely
zoom.
different lens.
It's entirely different. So with
Can you
this,
swap like while it's up in the air, or is this something that whatever lens you're choosing to go up with is the one you're going to go up with?
the one that you choose to go up with.
Okay.
The cool thing with the Air 3, it's like there's two lenses built into one. So
Okay.
you can maneuver it from one lens to the other while you're in flight. With past drones, it's like a digital zoom.
Yeah.
So you can zoom in, but it's grainy as hell, and it makes it super tough. But with this one, it's a
Ah.
aperture 2.8, 70 millimeter lens on the camera. So
I would have
makes it
never
really
guessed,
smooth.
bro, because like shooting like shooting landscape, you don't. Maybe you do think to shoot it with telephoto, I guess, but I feel like you always try to capture the entire scene, so you always think wide.
Yeah.
But man, that's what takes it to that's the secret.
Yeah, man.
MFHQ, man. Telephoto.
Yeah, dude. I love with the telephoto, you can layer stack scenery. Like right now, we're shooting in Current Place, and if you fly pretty low, you're able to get the El Paso skyline with the rim road houses and the trees.
Oh shit.
And that's the perspective that you don't see, you know. But that only really works with a long lens to where you can get that depth and that distortion, that depth of field. And I love it, man. There's different places. Like, of course, you want to go wide for those nice like sunset shots, but I think with the telephoto, you can get really creative with the shots that you get. You know.
Yeah. I remember the question I was gonna ask a little
Yeah,
bit earlier.
go for it.
As you start to become a little bit more fruitful within the creative career, are you conscious, and is there a shift in mindset that you have as you start to see these opportunities come in? As you're grinding and on grind mode, are you kind of in the same boat as a lot of creatives, thinking like, damn, like it's hard to blow up in El Paso, like what opportunities is there? And now that you kind of are seeing the other side of that,
Hmm.
are you kind of seeing how it plays out? Are you like learning a lot more through it? Are you aware of this, or are you just kind of going for the ride right now?
I try to be aware with it. I don't let it. I'm very like you talk to my friends, they'll tell you I don't like gloating. I don't like.
Okay.
I really don't like the following's there, and it's. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that people resonate with the work. But if the following went away tomorrow, I'd still be doing the same shit, grinding it out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to let that be the forefront of why I'm doing it. But it's definitely, it helps when you approach clientele, when you have a name to stand on and people don't question you. Because I feel like so often in town, yeah, and this is like, I don't think it's malicious from business owners, but I've been there, man, like growing up, like and starting out, and they're like, oh, well, you don't have experience, so I can't honor your rate because you haven't shot this before, or I can't honor your rate because you're not experienced with food photography. All you do is landscapes, or all you do is sports. Versus now, I guess because of the namesake and because of the following, people just oblige. Like they're very excited to have me, and it makes work a lot easier. But it's something I'm very conscious of because it was never like that.
Aside from not trying to put it at the forefront, um, as you're hearing that from some people, like possible gigs, they tell you you don't have the experience or anything. Did you make it a conscious effort to like not get boxed into just drone photography as well, or is this also just you freely exploring the different forms of photography as well? I'm sure it's a mix of both.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. I'm the type of person where I feel like the more skills you know, the more ahead you can get.
So you don't fear the Swiss Army knife, jack of all
Yeah,
trades,
I don't
like
fear it at
mindset.
all, man. I really I think it's an asset, especially because before I got really into it, I went to school for it, and then I was working as a lighting tech. So I did a lot of lighting work, setting up like lights for concerts and stuff. And then I didn't touch that until I got into photography. And when you do studio work, it's a lot about lighting. So a lot of the knowledge I had prior, it really came full circle and helped me out there. So I try to stay open, especially with the work I do. It's super cool being known as one of the drone guys in town, but
Yeah.
I don't like I don't want that to define me, because I've done like documentaries, I've done like lifestyle shoots, portraits, like concert photography. Like I just enjoy doing that. So I'm gonna try not to be boxed in because I feel like you limit your opportunities. The minute you box yourself in a niche.
Yeah. How much have you like? Are there plenty of aha moments where, similar to the lighting coming back into your photography, are there moments where you dive, you go away from drone for a bit, but then when you come back, all these things that you've been doing with like DSLRs and whatnot,
Yeah,
you're like, oh man, dude, I wasn't doing this the last time I was getting on my drone stuff.
yeah. No, a big one for me was time lapse videography. So time lapse videography, it's you're setting your tripod on a cam, or you're setting your cam on a tripod, and you're telling your camera to take somewhere as to 300 to 400 photos, and it's snapping a photo every 20 seconds. You stitch that in post, and you have a really high resolution time lapse. Once I discovered you can do that with the drone, and the different perspectives you can get, different angles, like it opens that world so much more. And yeah, that was like a really cool fucking moment. Like, oh shit, that was one of those oh shit moments that you're like, yeah, man, this is cool.
It doesn't
And
happen though if you're not
yeah,
messing around with camera time
absolutely,
lapses.
absolutely. It's super important to keep on learning. I feel like so many people, when they get to a specific caliber in their career, they feel like they have to turn that button off. Like, oh, I got it, like they can put cruise control on. But no, man, I think it's super important to always be like a lifelong learner and be like, oh, cool, like I haven't dove into that. Let's see what I can learn from that. Or, oh, fuck, like there's this tutorial I saw, it intrigued me. Let's dive in. Like you always want to be fresh and keep on learning in your scene, in your craft.
Are there any learning moments where you're, just starting from scratch outside of the craft? Is there any like side things that you like to mix in as well?
I think recently I've been really big in adding SFX into my videography. So I've been very musically inclined, sound inclined, like I've been able to master and mix my own audio into my projects, and those are one of those moments to where it's like a lot of people there. I mean, there's people you can hire, and there's people, which is awesome. I love collaborating. Like, I mean, we'll get to it, and I'm sure in a little. But there's a DJ friend of mine. His name's Impression. Collaborated with him a lot. He's a great, great guy. And there's certain things in certain projects to where, even though you can do it, you can do it better. So you have to bring in those people to help. But I think it's important to keep on learning. And there's been definitely a lot of moments messing with audio, getting like natural sounds, including it in your projects that I've been really intrigued by,
Exploring microphone options.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh man, the Sures.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe not these. They might not be good for like just holding around for like sound effects and stuff.
Like I got a Sennheiser on the way, but a Sennheiser mic on your like cinema rig. Oh, dude, the freaking directional audio pickup those get. Like, it's so cool.
Nice. Let's dive into a bit of how, the journey of like drone photography that you've been doing. There's like moments and opportunities for you to kind of tell a story a bit through El Paso of the city and maybe of your own days and whatnot. But do you think that is stemming from your experience in documentaries, or do you think some of your like interest and natural excitement to tell stories and like make it more than just a photo? Does that translate into you finding a natural flow into documentaries? Like, where do you think that lends?
So I feel like my interest and my intrigue for documentary storytelling in the city started not by me, but it's gonna sound super cliche. People tell me it's cliche, but El Paso is such a giving city with the architecture, with the history, with the sunsets. Like
it's cliche.
Like,
man.
it's cliche, right? It's too cliche.
Just kidding.
But that's how it started. Like it was looking out of the car window on my drive home and seeing shit that you're like, oh fuck, like that's a dope shot, and it's pulling over in Manhattan Heights or Kern Place and just pulling out the camera and being like, holy shit, man, this is a great like visual, man. I've never seen the city in this perspective.
Yeah.
And I can attest that to me. It's all in the city, it's all in the views that you get here. And that really has helped me keep a sharp eye wherever I'm at. Like when I do documentaries, and this is fairly new into what I'm like my niche is becoming with like documentaries and stuff. I try to keep my eye out for those specific moments. Like I was capturing a subject a few months ago, and we were in a very, very historical area in the Northeast, and it was one of those places to where like there's pictures and there's different things in the house, and you wouldn't catch it. Like you walk by and you wouldn't catch it. But my subject was standing there and he's reflecting on all these like imagery in the house, and I found that perfect shot where he's framed perfectly. And it's one of those things like the image tells a story for you, and I think you have, as artists, we have to be very like mindful of where we're at. Like this space, it's not just another space. Like you guys are in fucking Sunset Heights in El Paso. Mm-hmm. Like this building has been here God knows how long, Mm-hmm. Like there's stories in this building to tell. Like there's stories in this neighborhood to tell. Mm-hmm. Like you just have to keep your eye out and find them,
1920.
1920.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
My sister, she's like, this is such a historical area. How do you not?
It is, man.
Like research this.
It's 104 years old.
I was just excited to move out.
I just wanted my own place and it was cheap. I mean, so do you think what you're trying to explain right now in this form is like another example of being a lifelong learner?
Yeah.
Always being curious. Like what more? Do you think you've ever found yourself in like circles though where not everyone can like attest to that? Because I hate to say it, man, I don't want to get into like feeling like I'm going to be pessimistic, but I do feel like as we get further along generation by generation, we become less interested in like the big deal of things, the bigger picture of things. We'd rather just like people don't have enough money to like pay rent, or they don't have time to worry about the big deal and appreciate things. So do you feel like you ever are facing a lot of friction amongst your social peers and everything around the world, around the city and whatnot, when you're appreciating life and you kind of wish that, like, you get what I'm trying to ask? Is that a little too existential right there?
No, I get what you mean. I don't know. I find it very, I find beauty in the simplistic, in the day to day. Like, I feel like there's a time and place to think 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line, a decade down the line. But especially when I talk to my friends, when I talk to my peers, it's super like you don't want to think too ahead because you miss out on the now. And I know a lot of folks say that, but I don't know, man. Like grinding it out month to month, there's something so nice about. All right, let's just get through fucking Friday. Like let's get through the day, let's get through the schedule, and let's enjoy where we're at. And that be it. Like in those moments, it's really easy to be like introspective about your life right now and your community and where you're and what you're doing. I think that's where you're able to find those nice moments, like what I was touching on prior. Like those drive homes, like not thinking about what the fuck you're doing next week, but thinking about okay, like my objective is to get fucking home, and oh cool, look a fucking sunset. That's fucking nice. That's today. That's right now. Like that's not tomorrow. Like let's pull over. Let's capture that scene. And there's a lot of folks that they don't like to. Honestly, I've met more folks that they're too worried about what their lives look like a decade from now than what it looks like tomorrow. Especially with peers, which is admirable, because everybody wants to. I don't know about like the big time, but everybody wants to make sure that they're taken care of and that they're on the right path. But I don't know, man. There's something beautiful about just living for the day.
Yeah.
Do you think people living like that live like that at the cost of not living in the moment? And photography, like the whole point is to capture the moment, like
Yeah.
in the moment, to live in the moment. Did that come naturally to you, like living in the moment?
It's something that I had to learn to appreciate. Because especially, I mean, there's a lot of shit personally I went through in my adolescent to where I understand that a lot of folks, well, everybody, I mean, the fact of life is that we're born, we live, and we die. And we can't fucking predict when we go. So I think that at an early age that caught me and it made me appreciate life for what it was. And it made me appreciate more where I'm at. Like, I think a lot of people see cities like El Paso and they think of it as a stepping stone or like a footnote, like, like I'm gonna look back 30 years from now and like my time in El Paso will be a 5 year gap that I'm not giving shit about because I'm gonna be in the bigger city, in the bigger market, and I'm gonna make it there. And I think, God, man, like, it's crazy to think how much the city has grown in the past decade. And I think once you take yourself out of that mindset and you just become a little bit more open and a little bit more aware of where you're living, I think you learn to appreciate it for what it is. And when it comes down to the artistry of it, I think, yeah, I think some photographers get bogged down in what's next or what's going to happen that they forget to live for what they're capturing, the moment.
Yeah.
Being in the moment, do you feel as if sometimes, and maybe it was at first and you grew beyond it, but like, do you ever feel like photography takes you out of the moment because you're looking at it through a screen?
I think it's that's like a junction of position that I've had an argument with a lot of people with because, again, they're like, oh, live the fucking moment, put the camera down. Like, oh, but for me, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, like, task because a lot of people, they'll be in the moment, they'll enjoy it, but then, man, decades from now, they look back at it in just a memory. Versus as a photographer, you have the tools to be able to capture that exact fucking moment. And so where people a decade from now, 2 decades from now, they can look back at your work and be like, yeah, man, I remember that. Like, it gives them visuals to that moment. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And not to get super deep into it, but I feel like it's important for me to say it now. Like, as a photographer, my only goal in this life is to make art, whether that be capturing the moment or capturing something new that's going to outlive me. Like, I can give a shit about, like, the follows, the money, And that's why, for me, like, talking about, like, the moment, talking about the now, like, it's super important for me as an artist, Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, that's just a huge, like, anchor that I'm carrying while I work. And I can't attest it to that being the reason why people resonate with the work or why people are following. But for me, it's one of those moral obligations to where I'm never going to let that go. And I feel like the minute I let that go, the minute I'm going to hit that decline,
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody would look at a painter who sets up a canvas and decides to paint what he's watching for an hour. I don't think anyone would say the same thing. So it's like one of the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like the viewfinder is your canvas.
Yeah.
And you're just looking and you're finding it, you know? So I wasn't asking because I think that way. I was asking because, like, you know, maybe not with like DSLRs and like actually setting up and taking the time to capture an intentional photo, but I've seen the criticism that people get when they're constantly recording the moment
Yeah.
at events and stuff like that. And it's just like, I can feel like that sometimes
Yeah.
too myself, but there's something about it where it's just like, I see people when I see people at a show and I'm like, dang, you know, like you're right here and you can
Yeah.
watch it with your eyes. But when I see like somebody taking a picture of their kid achieving something, I don't resonate the same.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're no different. So I've been trying to, you know, overcome those own opinions because sometimes I'll even see it too. Mainly in like public spaces
No,
where
for
events are going on, and you're supposed to be socializing, but instead you're, you know, if it's just you over the cliff. Sorry, just to end
No,
it
you're
like that.
good.
When it's just you over the cliff, it's like, well, you know, let me capture this moment then. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, so it's a lot different.
I think it's the mindset behind it, you know, because you have some folks that, again, I was at a super dope concert and I was there taking photos for a cool project I was doing. And for me, that was like I was capturing the moment, you know, getting people smiling, getting people like the band performing. It was late night drive home at the Lowbrow in August. Cool fucking vibe. But then you look in the crowd, and yeah, you got people on like minute 35 on their iPhones just with that shit up, blocking the people in the back, you know? And I'm not too sure.
Shoulder on fire.
Yeah, dude. And that's one of those things, like, and that's where it's hard for me to judge because I don't know if they're doing that because they really enjoy that moment that they don't want to let that moment go and they want that to be tangible for them to look at in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's just like, because so many people do that and then they
show that they're there.
yeah, and it's all about like the clout or like the FOMO that they want to put out on their socials, and it's like it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
But it's not my place to judge. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let them do them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I agree with you. It's a weird thing because for some people it does trying to sear that moment in their brain by having it on their phone. It takes them out of the moment, and they really can't enjoy it. And I think that's a shame. You know.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll take a video here and there, but the last few shows, like I actually have managed to not even take the phone out. But I'm more of the type who will keep the ticket.
Yeah,
like I'm that type of guy at a show and stuff like that.
No, for sure.
That's like my memory, and I can retain those memories pretty decent. But I know that we're talking about like the followers. They don't matter. This is a very independent journey at the moment. But as you dive into it and as you're trying to grow your clientele, what have you learned about, you know, marketing your work and like turning artwork into a product, something for sale, something tangible and like a good or service? Like, what has that journey of understanding been like for you? Has it been something that like dilutes your? I wouldn't think it does at all. But just to like be formal and ask, like, does it dilute your enjoyment? Does it ever feel like it pulls you away, or do you think it's something that you've learned to embrace, and it's all part of the art as well, like learning how to value the work that you're creating as well?
I've totally have learned to embrace it because the way I see it, and I don't market myself that often. I mean, I'll put out products. Like I launched a photo book earlier in the summer. It's been doing really well. And that was something that I made for me. Like I was fully under the impression that like, look, I'm printing like 500 of these books. If they sell, cool. If they don't, this is like a nice little thing for me, you know? Mm-hmm. And the one thing I've learned with marketing one's work is that people love passionate people and people love to support passionate people. And I think that's the only thing I can attest it to. Like with selling a product, I usually leave it in the belly of the beast. I'm like, okay, there it goes. If people resonate with it, cool. If they don't, it's a lesson learned, you know? And there's not real strategy behind it. I just like let it flow with where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, I mean, I'm very grateful that people resonate with it, right? You know, like, and I've been able to sell the book. I've done some time-lapse packs because I've in the corporate side, I've been in the position where, man, like, I'm doing this video. What would make it is just a nice beauty shot of the city. And you go on Shutterstock and they're selling it for like $90 a pop, you know, for one HD 10-second video.
Of El Paso?
Of El Paso, yeah. And it's super outdated. It's like from 2013. So I've always, in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to make a resource to where people can purchase a bundle of clips that can basically be evergreen for their product, no matter what they're selling. You know, it's just a piece of the community that they can storytell with to resonate with the people of El Paso. So I did launch a couple of time lapse packs. I want to say last year, and they worked well. But again, it was like I let the work in the city shine on its own. I didn't put money behind it, and people resonated with it, you know? And I've seen it a lot. Like, I'll watch TV sometimes, and there'll be a beauty shot of El Paso in the commercial, and it could be the most randomest product. But but I catch it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, cool, dude. That's
Leonardo
one
DiCaprio.
yeah, bro, that's one of my
Yeah,
shots. But it's just cool to see that people value it. And I think not when work is that good, but when your work shows that much passion, people resonate with it, and I think people will buy into it quicker, you know?
Um, are you trying to are you ambitious to where you want to try to get into the passive income realm? Do you think that'll help you just create even more freely? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the first step to a lot of creatives is getting gigs.
Yeah.
Or hobbies, you're just hitting up friends and stuff and then it becomes gigs. Maybe some corporate, some
Yeah.
homies and stuff. But then it becomes okay, I'm getting paid enough to do my own thing. But then I think the ultimate last step is I made one thing and it just makes me money in my sleep, and now I just create whether it makes money or not.
Yeah.
Is that a goal of yours? Are you trying to unlock more ways to create freely, or do you think you found a sweet spot that you want to keep developing within?
I feel like with any business owner or entrepreneur, the goal is to make that passive income route. For me, it's finding that sweet medium to where I'm not compromising on the work, that I believe in the work as I put it out. I don't want to, last thing I want to do, because I've been there, especially corporate, because you have higher ups that their no's are no's and their yeses are yeses, and you have to fucking deal with it, you'll put out a product that you do not believe in, but you deal with it because the bosses are happy. I don't want to be to that point, No matter who I'm collaborating with, no matter what business approaches me for work, I want to make sure that the product I put out for them or the art that I'm putting out for sale, it's something that I truly believe in. I think that's a huge goal of mine. So yeah, if passive income comes with that, cool. But I think for me, that's one of the things, it's like a non-negotiable compromise. I'm always going to keep that there,
Yeah. Documenting El Paso, either through photo or video. Do you think the appreciation, I guess what I want to say, or what I want to ask is you've worked with plenty of businesses.
Yeah.
Do you think you've learned and gotten a bigger understanding on the nature of business these days, in the sense of how they're trying to get noticed and stuff? Does this being with people that might have no's or no's, yeses or yeses, and everything in between all that? Do you think you've seen a lot of you understand marketing trends now, not only with El Paso business, but maybe even you can see how this translates to global stuff and all that? In other words, I guess, what has the creative side of stuff helped you understand about business here in El Paso?
It's helped me understand that every business and every business person has a story to tell.
Okay.
And I think the minute that you tap into that as a creator, your life becomes so much easier, No matter what it is. It could be, there's so many car washes popping up in town. There's so many dealerships, and I've worked with dealerships, and there's one dealership that I worked with for multiple years, and they started off on the lot on Montana, and now they're I think they have the most dealerships in town, and they have dealerships in Albuquerque and in Las Cruces. And for me, the intriguing thing there was, okay, let's talk about your beginning, how did you start? You're here because of the start that you had, in your career. Let's explore that journey. And what I learned from that is that people are really passionate to dive into that, and it lets their guard down, and they're more trusting as a creative, and when it comes time for ideas to be pitched, they'll kind of lend their ear more to you, just because you have interest in them. I think nowadays it's so transactional. People want the work, they can give a shit about who you are as a business, they can give a shit how you started. Look, bro, look, buddy, you hired me for a drone shot, I'm gonna give you the drone shot. I need that money, and vice versa. People that are hiring creatives to come in, it can be very transactional. But once you break that barrier and you get more into let's understand each other, let me get to know who you are, let's story tell, I think.
Because you're not just going to need one drone shot. Maybe a month from now you'll need another one, so we might as well form a relationship.
Absolutely.
Well,
and even if you're not
sustainable.
And if you're not a storyteller, that's a great mindset to have. It's I'm building a relationship, a long-term relationship, short-term relationships in town can only get you so far. But you want to build those relationships that it can keep you fed, you know, like a year, 2 years down the line, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. I agree with that wholeheartedly. As a designer, I've gone from like flyers and stuff where probably if I wanted to live off designing flyers, I'd have to make like, dude, like 100 a month.
Yeah.
But I've eventually evolved that design to websites.
Yeah.
And so not only do I have to do less, but because the website doesn't stop after it's built, almost all the time they need to be maintained.
Yeah.
It's like a living thing, and all that, like, that completely calls for you to form a relationship with the client, like really get to know them and what their goals are. That way you can cater to the goals, not like, oh, I need a website. And now you're solving problems. You're not just doing a service.
Yeah.
And on like the financial side of it, like that allows you to charge more. But at that, I mean, if you're just, of course, if you're just focused on that, you're gonna have blinders on, and you're gonna miss all the opportunity to raise that value. So I'm glad you said those things because, like, yeah, man, like trying to have short term clients is gonna leave you always trying to scrap and like find 20 clients a month, 20 clients a month, rather than having like retainers. And so, and honestly, like, there's low value clients and there's high value. Are you familiar with the Future by chance?
The Future.
They're like a design, creative professional
Yeah, I
academy
actually have,
on
yeah.
YouTube. Man, those guys have taught me so much about low value and high value clients. And that's not to call someone a low value person, but it's to say like, man, like, you always bump heads with me on the price. You don't necessarily know what you want, but you're always telling me no on
Yeah.
things. So like you kind of, I think you do know what you want, and it's just all those like there's friction points. And as you get to, like, trust your work, understand what you're offering more, you value it more accurately, you slowly start to like phase out of those, and you start to get higher value clients who, like, for better or worse, they don't even care what the price on the
Yeah.
income says. They want it to be done, and they trust you to do it. They have a great, like, they just want you to come in, whatever that invoice says, you're fine with, and all that stuff. And it just removes a lot of the monkey on the back of like the money, and now you can get straight to creating.
And it's crazy, and that's where I go back to like the non-negotiable, like, or non-compromising, you know, like the high value clients, they're my friends, you know, like they
Yeah.
trust me, bro. Like they follow, they like my stuff, you know, they're very, again, they're very trusting. Like they're like, we know you're going to deliver good work. And it's funny that you say that, because that's been my whole experience in business here in town. Like scrapping and getting those $80, $150 gigs, and looking at the issues I had then, and the amount of, like, revisions, and we don't like that, or like, no, it's like, that's not what we want, like, you fucked up. And then seeing the difference, and I think it goes for business owners too, because you have business owners starting out that they're nitpicky because they want everything to be so perfect. And you have business owners that have been doing this game so long, and they're the high value versus the low value, I guess, And I don't know, that's maturity that you find through business, to where there's no sense in worrying about the minor details when, and this is something I brought up. I had a talk at the Chamber of Commerce in June, and this is something that I pointed to. A lot of businesses, they worry about the ad, they worry about the creative, but their customer service is shit. So best case scenario, my video gets 300 people through your door, but
You kept two.
yeah, or you don't have the supply and demand to keep that, like,
So now I look like the waste of money.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's lessons learned for both the creatives and businesses as they get started, but it's super important, especially here in El Paso as a community, that we don't undercut, because that's where it gives, like, the low value clients the power, because now you have somebody that undercut you from a $400 gig to now you felt like you had to go down to 200 or 100. It's not worth your time, and it's the biggest headache of your fucking life, Like, it's super important that we build a community and like just like bridge that gap as creatives, whether we just started or we've been running and gunning for the past 20, 30 years, just so we avoid that gap. That it's easier and it's quicker for us to hit that high value client versus that low value, And it teaches businesses to value creativity more, It teaches businesses that they can't push your photographer or your average videographer around. They have to figure out what they want when they come to the table, and as long as we're not compromising, it's going to get easier for people to work here.
Yeah. I think what we're talking about right now is just like a big principle of just like putting people in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
Like, don't receive help from someone, but not give them the tools to help you.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you're not. I mean, no one's giving you the camera like after they hire you, obviously. But what I mean is like, you know, there's a clear vision of the business and everything that's been laid out, and that helps you understand it a lot easier
Yeah.
before even like the questions and back and forth talking even begin. And so, yeah, man, some people who hire out these like services, man, they really put you in a position to like really work a puzzle, dude. It can get really frustrating, man.
They do, man, and I think it's the price we pay for social media culture and the whole I want to go viral, you know? Because a lot of people
Yeah,
think
dude.
like, fuck, I'm gonna hire this kid for $200 and he's gonna change my whole fucking world. Like my business is down and out, it's gonna flip like that, and they don't see that result because you can't predict what viral means. You know, you can't predict a viral video, you can't predict a viral photo, a post, a flyer. You know, like you can't. So that makes them frustrated, and who they take it out on, the creator. You know.
Yeah.
So it's tough, man. It's tough. But you know what? My biggest advice would be like you live and learn. You know, like if you have a client that wasn't necessarily like a good experience working with, take that with you. You know, like make that part of your non-negotiables. Like I don't want to work with another guy like that. You know, or have that be on the lookout when you meet with future clients. You know, like red flags are gonna pop up, and it's gonna be like, damn, you know, like they're acting a lot like the dude that hired me last month that I fucking hated. So no, I'm, you know, like I might, you know, make a contract to where I can back myself up so where I'm not getting screwed out in the long run, or I can choose to walk away and look for somebody that aligns a little bit more with my values, you know?
Oh yeah, man. Have you, have you formed like a contract now for your work?
I have.
Where it's like, is it pretty sturdy at this point, or do you think there's a little bit of holes that you'll end up finding? Like, not to like predict like, you know, misfortunes or anything, but like, that was the question.
It's pretty sturdy. I like to keep it very open.
Okay.
But there's certain stuff like filming time, editing turnover, amount of revisions you get. Like I'm not gonna compromise on that. Of course, like if we have filming set for a Tuesday and it's outdoors and that the weather just screwed us, you know, of course I'm gonna be open to reworking that, you know. But there's certain stuff that you can compromise on, and there's certain stuff that you shouldn't compromise on, and that's made my life a whole hell of a lot easier with dealing with clients, you know.
I bet, man. I bet. It just clears out it honestly like is like a good filter for those low value clients. And again, I'm not trying to like call them low value people or anything, but yeah, I mean, speaking of the viral, like, is one of those red flags, has there ever been instances where you can already kind of get the notion that someone's reaching out to you just because they're trying to bank on like your audience?
Yeah, I've gotten that several times this year.
I as a business, I don't see how that would happen when it's like he's gonna do this as a gig, but it's not gonna like really show up on his profile or something. You know what I mean?
I've gotten that, and I won't get in specifics. I won't say names.
Of course.
I'm super big on that, like bringing people down. But I'll talk about the experience.
Yeah.
I had a client, and they rolled me in. They really liked the work. I really thought the vibe was meshing well. And at the end of the day, they were very bitter, and they voided a contract that we had long term. But because I feel like they thought that their audience was attached to the money they were paying me, that my audience was attached to the bill that they were putting in, and it's hard having that conversation like to where look. You're paying for a video. You're not paying for a collab post. You're not paying for my audience to see your stuff.
Yeah.
You're paying for my work, you know? If that's what you wanted, then that should have been at the forefront of the conversation. And that's where you have influencers having like those influencer deals, you know, like where they promote a freaking, you know, like clothing or like a food product, you know, like, but it's tough when I guess you have that audience as a creator because you have people approaching you and you can't tell what they want. It's like, do they want the audience that I can provide them, or do they want the work that I'm doing, you know? And I feel like it's even tougher a business approaching somebody because, yeah, man, like it makes it frustrating for the process because you think you know the work that you're doing is good, but it gives people a sour taste when the good work is doing only so good with an account that has 500 follows, and they're a little bit pissy because they know that you have so much more and they want what you got, but that wasn't really a part of the deal. You know, like it's tough. It's a tough situation.
Yeah. You got to remind them like, guys, I'm not an influencer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
It's totally two different words.
Exactly.
two totally different professions. Let's dive into the process a bit.
Let's do it. Yeah.
After any sort of project, when you have all the assets, all the files, photos, videos, what does that puzzle look like for you at first? Like, let's say we're talking about a video.
Yeah.
How do you sort through that at first? What's one of your first steps? Do you like to lay it all out on the timeline, or like how do you start these like massive?
Do you use the Adobe Suite?
I do. Yeah. So I edit all my
Adobe
stuff.
King.
Yeah, I edit all my videos out of Premiere Pro, and I edit all my photos out of Lightroom. I do color out of DaVinci Resolve. I think the color profiling in that
video?
system for video, yeah. I use the free version though. I haven't bought the full DaVinci, but coloring through DaVinci, it's honestly, you get a lot more out of your video than you would coloring out of a Premiere.
Do you use LUTs?
I don't. I was able to make my own. I do, but it's mine. Like I customized it for myself, and that just to expedite my work process.
Sure.
But my process actually starts before I even go on the shoot. If it's a video, I'm super big on like picking the song prior and filming with that in mind, like with the hits, with the specific, like elements like the chorus, the instrumentals. I don't know why my brain's wired that way, but I need that in order to go into a shoot. And then same with if it's like coloring wise, like I'll try to find like a stock image that I know it's going to emulate the day. Like if I'm filming on a Sunday when it's no clouds and it's just sunny and the light's super harsh, and I'm doing a natural light shoot, I'll color an image that I feel like is going to give me a similar look prior. So that way when I'm done for the day and I offload all my stuff, I can plug it in, and it usually makes the work process a little bit quicker,
Mm-hmm. Man.
So music is really important?
For me it is. Again, like, and it's to each their own with their process. I think there's no right or wrong answer, but yeah, like a video, like a music video that's cut to the hits of a song, for me, it just goes like, I love that shit way more, like if there's big drums or there's like a drum transition and you're able to cut it super quick, fast paced to the music, I think it goes a long way.
So it's like you use music as a way to like start getting the creative juices going?
Yeah.
Is it often where the song you started with doesn't be the song that?
Yeah, no,
Man.
super often. But the good thing is, especially with like getting the BPM of the song, you can find a similar one, that has the same rhythm or the same beat or the same type of like momentum. And if you find the right one, it usually fits like a glove when you replace it in. But
Yeah.
I think just going in with the style that you're feeling, I think that's important to me.
Are you the type that like has your shortcuts down?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I don't. This guy does. So we have like a really good process for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm really nitpicky about where like the CG comes up, but if I were the one cutting the conversation, it'd take me fucking like forever, dude. He does it in like a blink, man. It's crazy. So yeah, but it's all because of those shortcuts. I forgot what I needed help with on like fast forwarding and rewinding,
Yeah.
and it was just like stupid. J and L.
Yeah.
This is dumb. What's your process on like? I mean, I would imagine whenever you need a quick like, oh, how do you do this?
Yeah.
YouTube. But do you ever find yourself intentionally going to just like study?
Yeah. No, all the time. And YouTube's the biggest source for that. I went to school. I didn't go to school for media specific, but I went to school for photojournalism.
Okay.
So,
Graduated?
no, I didn't graduate.
Nah?
Yeah, I'm a dropout, man.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
all good. Look where you're
It's
at.
okay. Yeah, bro. I want to graduate though. I'm super close.
Okay, okay.
COVID messed all that stuff up for me.
Just yeah.
Yeah,
feel
but I learned even when I was at school, the stuff that you learn on YouTube and it being a free platform, like is levels
Oh, it's
above
cheat
when you can.
codes.
Yeah.
Do you pay for it though?
No, I don't.
You don't pay for
I don't pay for
YouTube
that.
yet? Oh, once you do,
No,
you
yeah.
won't go back.
I like the ads. It's like nice little like even like I pay for Spotify, but I remember when I was like broke and I had to do the free Spotify trial. Like those little like those ads kind of gave me some nice like white noise when I'm falling.
They ground
asleep.
you?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
They keep you grounded.
It's that nice dead space. But no, I think YouTube, especially for people in our realm, like
Yeah.
creatives, take advantage of that stuff, man. Because there's some stuff that you'll learn on there compared to like a college. People I know with a college degree or people I know that they went to school for a while, like they learn more from YouTube than they do from school, and it's crazy, you know. And to that's available to us right now.
Oh yeah, YouTube's insane, man. I've learned so much through it. It's ridiculous. Part of me wants to argue that I've learned more than through like my 5-year collegiate degree, and even then, when I'm talking to somebody about the college experience, a lot of the time we'll agree that more of what we learned from college actually happened like outside of the class and was just more of like the being social and all that stuff. I can't really see it, like I can't understand how much I retain. I can't comprehend what I retain and what I don't from like my marketing classes, to be honest. I think I memorized more from like my 2 astronomy classes that I took in the very beginning because I love space so much. But marketing, I did gain a lot from it. Not to say that the education didn't like help me, but YouTube's insane, man. Like, it's crazy that it's like free.
Yeah, man. Especially for, I mean, I wouldn't trust a doctor that learns shit from YouTube. You know? Like I want him to have a PhD.
Yeah,
and stuff, you know. But for like a photographer, videography, man, like, the shit you learn on YouTube. The fact that like people are just like, there's a lot of creatives out there, and they're not gatekeepers, man. They're very, they love to show what they learned, you know. And I think it's very important to grasp onto that resource, you know.
Yeah. In hindsight, is that why most creatives, you included, do you think you stick with Adobe because it's just more like universal? There's way more tutorials to find on Adobe versus the free version, the free app version. That's like, you know what I mean? Because like at this point, it's so easy to find a tutorial on whatever you need, from Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, Premiere. But I bet if you have like a more low key platform, it's just like, dang, there's not as many tutorials.
Yeah, I stick to Adobe because for my work process, I work very quick, and I don't do it to make clients happy. That's how my brain's wired. I don't know if like I'm undiagnosed with something, you know, but for me, it's like I need to, if I'm working on a project, I need to see that project through before I can move to the next one. So, which, I mean, with my social media, it helps because like I shot Lincoln Park Day a few weeks back, and I went to fucking Old Sheepdog literally across the street, and I edited my photos and I posted, and then it's like, okay, we're done. Let's move on to the next one, you know? And same with video projects.
Shout out Old Sheepdog one time.
Old Sheepdog, bro. They got some good stuff.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, even with my client, and I feel like that's why clients really, they like working with me because they're like, oh, this fucker's quick, man. Like he gives us our stuff like on the quicks. But for me, it's like a wired part of my process that I can't get rid of. Like I need to get it done to move forward, you know? And
that's the downfall of a lot of creatives, man. They'll shoot it and then they'll forget for like 3 days,
man.
bro. And then by that time, you forgot the moment, you forgot the colors that you felt,
and those ideas that come.
I'm part of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm hearing you explain like the opposite of that, the more like productive version, and it's such a small thing. It's common sense, obviously, but maybe not so common because my mind's getting blown at the moment of like the benefits of working soon after.
Yeah,
I've never put it in those words before, but
no. But again, it's a double-edged sword because the more time you have with the project, you can really iron it out, you know? And again, for me, it's different. But again, I don't think everybody's the same. I think you work with what's best for you. Because, of course, with a documentary that's months ongoing, you can't edit that thing on the quicks. You know, you really have to take your time with it. And I think the product is better off with that. But with a 30-second ad or 30-second reel that's super fresh and it's popping and it's, you know, people like it's today, it's now. I think it does better with you putting it out there quicker. And that's why, and I don't know if that's the photojournalist kid in me coming out because it's breaking news. It's like you have to put the stuff out when it's fresh. I feel like, I don't know if that's what's helped me with my content, but like, yeah, I just feel like it's important. Like if it snows tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., that shit's gone by 11. It's El Paso. You know, like it's like a sunny day by 2 p.m., you know? Like you want to wake up early. Yeah, you want to make that sacrifice of sleep and get that moment and capture those visuals while they're fresh. And you want to put it out while people are experiencing it themselves, you know? And I feel like that's the type of content that a lot of people resonate with the most on my page. But again, it's just the mindset that I have. I'm wired weird, you know?
As far as like, just a quick like backtrack to the drone photography. Do you think your life or your sleep schedule shaped around prime times of capturing it all?
It is. My sleep habits.
Do you wake up early?
I do wake up early. And it's funny because like now it's like you have your mental alarm clock.
Yeah.
I used to, as a kid, I bummed out, man. I'd wake up like at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Now I'm up and at 'em at 6 in the morning, dude, every freaking day because I get so many sunrise shots. And even like it sucks because even when I want to like just relax, like if I'm off of a 48-hour shoot and I'm
Yeah.
like tired and like I'm holding a gimbal and your arms are all like fucked up, all you want to do is rest, and it's a pain in the ass, and like your brain clicks on right at 6 a.m. and you're just there like fuck.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're like, well, I'm not gonna sleep, so might as well go out and do some more work, or go out and just shoot some shit, like it's a blessing and a curse, but I'm happy that it's wired that way. I feel like I'm able to adapt my mental and my body to the work that I do.
Speaking of blessing and curses, you get so, you get into a routine to where you're capturing content consistently.
Yeah.
But once that consistency grows, does it sting you in the chest a little bit when you miss a dirty sunrise? Do you ever at this point? Like, are you always stacked and ready to go, or?
No, man, I've been a byproduct to the sunrise or the sunset is okay when you capture it, but you go grocery shopping at Albertsons in the parking lot and you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is insane. It looks like a painting. I've learned to live with missing it.
Yeah.
I've learned to like, okay, the thing that helps me, it's like, all right, I'm gonna enjoy this one. No cameras, no drone. I'm just gonna enjoy this shit while it's out.
Because you trust El Paso's gonna give you another one soon.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Like everybody else, I'm gonna enjoy this moment, but I'm gonna be on the lookout tomorrow. I'm gonna be on the lookout the day after that, And no, but even when you miss it, it's just so nice to just enjoy it, It's one of those cool moments.
I've had a stretch of trying to do daily skylines.
Yeah.
And man, dude, like prime time sunsets can be like 2 minutes, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And you're running inside to get the drone real quick and setting it up, and by the time you come back out, it's gone. You're like, no. All the clouds already like fizzled out. They're not so thick no more.
Dude.
And it's just like, damn.
That's why you gotta trust it, but you also have to kind of try and predict it, Like when I was grinding it out on my 9 to 5, I always, especially come fall, because that sunsets around like 5:36.
Yeah, early.
So I'm like driving home, like, and I always take Montana, not I-10, because it's easier for me to pull over and fly the drone up. And
because I-10 is a piece of shit.
Yeah, bro. I think there's a meme where it's like, I don't know if it's Jonah Hill and Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like looking out of the car window. That's me all the time, dude. I'm like looking and I see this. I can see the oranges start to pop out, and they're a little bit light, but I'm like, bro, 5 minutes from now they're gonna be that bright freaking burnt orange. Like it's always just trying to be aware of those moments. When you get them.
I'm talking to a pro right now about the stuff that I was experiencing as such an amateur, bro. Like, I'd be driving home like, I can catch it, dude. I can catch it. Sometimes it'd be sunrises.
Yeah.
And I'd be trying to get home back to the drone, and I'd be like, oh my God, dude. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Please tell me this ain't even the peak yet. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
But just stuck with it. And
yeah, man. And there's, again, like, as a creator, it's very easy to be like, to rage quit, kind of, like when you miss those moments. But nah, bro, just enjoy them.
Yeah.
Enjoy them, because tomorrow we're going to have more, So you got to learn to enjoy those moments.
Are you aware that right now, like, creating consistently helps you, like, understand that value? Because in 2021, I had a graphic design little project of mine where I did try to do one design every day.
Yeah.
And that helped me overcome all sorts of blocks, because at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm stuck on something, just try it.
Yeah.
Even if like maybe today's only a 15-minute banger. And at the end of the day, the whole point in your head is that tomorrow it starts over again.
Absolutely.
So like it helps you let go of perfection. And I think that's like one of the biggest keys to being a successful creator, is to let go of perfection. Too much gold gets sat on because it's not perfect yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just try again tomorrow. Like, put this one out and just do it again.
I could not agree more. I think we're our own biggest critic.
Yeah, always.
And especially with, because I went through a period too, I want to say 2022 to 2023. And I'm still kind of doing it now. I miss a couple of days here and there, but I try to post every day. And it is so liberating. And there's a lot of weight taken off of yourself when you stop nitpicking, or you stop trying to make things be perfect. Because the amount of like reels that I've had to pop off that I work on, and I'm like, fuck, man, this needs to be like that. It needs to hit that beat. It needs to, the colors need to be this way. Like, you're super meticulous.
Just for Instagram to cook it anyway.
Dude, yeah, bro. You no, no, like you
or
put
the
it,
sync to get off.
Yeah, bro. You put it up, and then like it's like does average, and then that one reel that you're like, fuck it, man, I trust it. Like I see, like there's a smudge from the cam right there, or the lighting's not really there, but I trust it, man. Like, it's current. I want to flow with it, and that's the shit that pops off. It's a huge lesson learned, Like, you can't. Not everything's gonna be perfect, and I think a lot of the times your audiences aren't craving perfection. They're craving authenticity, you know? And as long as you give them that real moment, you know, that's when stuff's really going to pop off.
Oh, yeah, man. The best strategy I think as a creative is borderline no strategy.
Yeah.
Just the strategy is to just be yourself.
Absolutely.
In our captions, I rant in our captions, and I know no one's reading that shit, but maybe like 2, 3,
Yeah,
4 people
man.
are, and they're appreciating the fact that there's a string of like ideas that are getting strung along with every post, every clip.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though: what side of the fence do you lean on more? Like, where does your heart truly lie, photo or video?
Damn. It's like Sophie's choice right there, bro. It's like picking between my 2 kids. I'm a photographer at heart because that's where it all started. So I want to say photo.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Let's not think it too hard. But like, next question is, how do you appreciate or not appreciate how Instagram, the main platform for a lot of creatives, has slowly just phased photos out and
Yeah.
really pushed reels in everyone's face, and it just makes you think, man, this reel, like, I gotta digest it all in 10 seconds because it loops
Yeah.
and it keeps looping. This photo gives me all the time I want to just enjoy it. How do you feel about where social media is going as a whole with like attention spans just getting dwindling?
I feel like it'll come back around. I feel it was very frustrating, especially because I think once the pandemic hit and TikTok took off and Instagram felt like they had to follow suit, they really killed the photo aspect of that app. And I get it because everyone's chasing that trend. But for me, and it was tough, man, because it's like, fuck, man, do I post every day? Do I post a reel every day? Do I post a reel twice a week, 3 times a week? I found myself freaking biting my own tail trying to strategize with what works. And then when I just stopped myself, I'm like, fuck it, man, I'm a photographer. I'm going to post a photo. And it's funny because more often than not, my photos are what's popping off more than my videos. And I think that's a huge thing for me. It's like, yeah, you just don't compromise on who you are as an artist, no matter what platform is telling you the fucking rules to success, or like, this is what's working, this is what's not. The algorithm's always changing. Like,
Yeah.
the head of Instagram, I follow his page. Seems like a cool guy, but he's saying stuff, and I'm like, bro, come on. He's like, you gotta post a reel 3 times a week, and then you can't post more than that, and then your page is gonna be successful. I'm like, I feel like that guy can't predict his own algorithm. Like, I listen to this, and I'm like, dude, that doesn't make any sense because my page is so random, and I'm doing just fine as a creative, you know? But my biggest thing is, like, I'm posting stuff that I feel like my organic audience is gonna like. Like, I'm not posting stuff for the paid audience, or I'm not posting stuff for the audience I want to attract. I'm posting stuff for the audience and for myself, what we want to see now. And I feel like as creatives, yeah, the algorithm there is there and it's a good guideline and you have to be aware of it and where it's going, but don't compromise on who you are as an artist, you know? Like, make sure that the stuff that you're posting, whether that's a reel, if that's a photo, or if that's a, you know, like an ad, that it reflects on who you are as an artist. Because that's also how you separate yourself from the pool. Because how many fucking people were doing the TikTok dances and stuff, you know, like businesses, creatives, you know, like influencers.
We're gonna
it's
see
like
Christian churches doing some
Dua Lipa
TikTok,
dances, bro. Yeah, bro.
dude.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Next week.
Nah, but that's how, you know, like the minute you hop on the trends or the minute you hop on what the algorithm's telling you, you blend in so much with what everyone else is doing, you know?
You're not necessarily, you're hardly a creative at that point
Yeah.
anymore. You're more of just like an equation.
Yeah,
You're just
dude.
playing into the algorithm, trying to have the algorithm like get solved and stuff.
Absolutely.
A cog in the machine.
Yeah, no, I dropped the algorithm a while ago, and I don't know if it's to a fault or not. I just think that we're growing the way we're supposed to grow.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I don't know if David agrees wholeheartedly or to an extent or anything, but like, I'm a big fan of the 1,000 true fans idea.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just want to find my people, my crowd, dude. Like, I think that will go so much further than just having a lot of people who are on and off with like your work.
Absolutely. You build a community that way, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and it lets you just be so much more like
Yeah.
authentic with your work. Some people try to like, I don't even think people are trying to be inauthentic. They're just trying to be successful so hard that they lose themselves a bit without even knowing.
Dude.
It's such a tricky situation to be a creative, man, because it's like no one's telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
You're seeing how people are doing it, and you feel like that's the same thing as someone telling you how to do it, but that's what puts pressure on. That's what puts your blinders. That's what takes the blinders off in a negative way, because now you're just looking left and right, and next thing you know, every time you look left and right, there's a new person there because everyone else that you just saw as you turned your head away is moving forward, and it's like, damn.
And it kills your the passion for your craft. Yeah, the passion for your craft.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
it
now you're
kills
just
it.
doing it for money.
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about like what you enjoy no more. You're thinking about what everyone else is gonna
Hmm.
enjoy, and there's something about it that works to an extent because there's a level of service you're providing as a creator. Once you are intentionally putting it out to the public, I feel like you're intentionally also trying to connect with the world.
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, there's some service that you're providing. There's people that are looking for this sometimes and are hoping to have their day brightened by their feed. But at the end of the day, it's like most of the time they gravitated towards you, and you didn't even know this follower that came into your feed existed. And it's like once they come in, all of a sudden you're creating for this stranger. It's like, dude, they came in because of who you were
Yeah.
before. These are just random thoughts that like
Absolutely.
all connect into one big rant that I feel like when it
No,
comes
no,
to
I
creating for yourself
yeah.
and creating for this world of social
Absolutely,
media that
man.
we live in.
And the thing is, it's like, again, people are chasing the success, and they start to create for what they feel people want to see, and what people want to see is them being themselves authentically, and you kill that aspect, and then ironically, that's when you're gonna hit a decline. That's where you can't compromise on who you are as an artist. It's super important, and I think what that does too is that creates an environment as creatives where we feel like we need to compete instead of collaborate. I've lost not a lot. Thankfully, a lot of my friends that share my craft were like neck and neck, but we really are big on helping each other out. We're really big. Like, if I have a gig that requires two shooters, I'm hitting up my friend and bringing them along. I really believe that there's enough work in this city for everybody to eat. But I've encountered folks that I considered really close friends that they got really competitive, and it killed our friendship. And I feel like I slowly saw it kill their passion for why they wanted to create in the first place. And the biggest thing I learned, and I wouldn't say I'm at the top as a creative here in town because there's so many amazing people here, dude. So many amazing people. But people that I admire, and people that I consider like as mentors, what they share with me all the time, it's like people at the bottom of the cog, they think that you need to compete to get ahead. Everybody at the top, they're collaborating. Like they're considered peers and not competition. And that's something that I always keep in the back of my head, especially with photographers and videographers in town. Like I met a great bunch of kids starting out. Yes, it's crazy. I'm 25. I'm calling like 19-year-old and 18-year-old kids, dude. But I met them, man, and like they were very much they were like, bro, like we thought they were like we thought you're gonna have like a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. We thought you're gonna like gatekeep a lot. But I'm like,
Talking to you?
yeah. And I'm like, nah, dude, like I feel like I don't feel threatened. I feel like it makes me happy to see people pick up a camera, pick up a drone, like fuck it, dude. Like we're all learning. Let's all learn together. And if I'm able to give a piece of what I've learned in this journey to somebody starting out or somebody that's been in it, just give that nice new perspective. Like I'm always going to go that route.
Thank you for saying that because I think for me, for sure, like there's a lot of improvements been made, but I do feel like I've fallen into that realm of competitiveness. And I try not to ever let it be detrimental to either us or the other person. So with that being said, real quick, do you believe in a healthy competitiveness?
I think so, yeah.
Do you engage in that?
I do.
What does that look like? What does healthy competitiveness look like to you?
Healthy competitiveness. Sorry, I stumbled on my words. I used to have a lisp as a kid, so that really fucks me up when I talk with like a lot of S's. But no, I think healthy competitiveness, it leans with collaboration because there's no hate involved. It's all about getting better with each other. Like I have a friend, like we're both videographers and we post a lot, but all the time we're like, oh shit, dude, like how do your metrics look this week? Like, oh cool, like that worked for you. Fuck yeah, dude, this is what I got. But there's no ego. It's kind of like,
but there is a one-up nature in a way.
Yeah, but it's all out of love,
It's coming more from the angle of like you guys are back to back shimmying up a wall.
Yeah, dude, it's like it's that mindset of like we're gonna grow together, but we're both in this race and we're both in our own respective lanes, but we're gonna check up on each other and we're gonna kind of like poke the bear and have fun and be like, oh fuck, dude, like yeah, like I saw that post, look what I did, like same angle, like we got that same sunset, let's see how these like compare, but it's all out of love. Like, it's not out of hate. And I think when ego's driving the wheel, you see very quickly you're like you start to feel a lot of resentment towards other creatives because, yeah, you might have better work than they do, or at least you feel like you have better work than they do, but they're still up here and you're down there. And I feel like, again, if you have that ego-driven mindset, you get very hateful and spiteful, and that's not a healthy way to operate. Like I think as long as it's all out of love and you self-check each other, that it is. I think that's where it's fun. Like it's fun competitiveness.
That's good.
I hope all of this is making sense. By the way, too.
Oh,
No, that makes sense. Yeah, no.
1000% clarity, man. The way I saw that shimmying up the wall sort of example of healthy competitiveness, it's like, no, I mean, you guys are helping each other. So where does that competition look like? But I would imagine like you guys are just, hold on, watch this jump.
Yeah,
And you shimmy
dude.
up higher,
Yeah.
and then you're like, no, hold on, I'm gonna get us. And the next thing you know, you guys are both like so much further in life.
Yeah, it's like having like a bud, dude. Like you might fall on your ass one day and they'll laugh their ass off at you, but they'll be there to pick your ass up. Oh shit, they'll be there to pick your ass up. And
Yeah.
like give you a pat on the back and be like, okay, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like it's. I feel like for me in my mindset, that's healthy competitiveness. It's friendly competitive. Like that's friendly
Yeah.
competition.
If it can exist in sports, it can exist in any sort of like industry.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I think just being like, having played sports before, it's like not a weird thing to be a little competitive
Yeah.
or hungry. That's where I'm trying to like really master though. Because prior to that, I think I did let it consume
Yeah.
a bit. And I was just like, man, dude, like I'm not even enjoying what we're doing because I'm constantly putting it up next to somebody else who probably has a way bigger budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking pride in the fact that we're accomplishing this with no budget. Like instead of appreciating those like
Yeah.
milestones, I'm over here like, oh, but I wish I had this budget, or I wish I had these people going to the thing or whatever. And it's just like it ends up blocking out like your own achievements.
Hindsight's 2020 though, because
Yeah.
you can see that as a win. Like we're accomplishing this much with this little budget. What the fuck? What does it look like when we have that budget? How much more are we gonna do? I think seeing that as motivation and not seeing that as like a put down. But we're not there. Like we're doing good, but fuck, man, we can do so much better. Versus we're doing really good with what we got right now. What's it gonna look like when we're at the place we want to be?
What does if there's been one as this journey's really like been solidified, what does a rut look like for you? Like has there been any creative ruts along the way?
There has been, and again, it's a rut is like for me, it's like anybody's creative block. Like it's a weird little fucking shell that you can't break, and in those moments, I try to be in tune with my creative side to the fullest, and that's like seeing a fucking movie or seeing an artist perform or seeing an artist paint or just kind of like gluing myself to my friends that are also filmmakers, photographers, and trying and being in those environments and letting that take me out of that rut. It's hard because you can't predict when you get out, you can't predict when you hit it, but I think as long as you absorb and put yourself in an environment with people that are in the same passion and are as passionate in their fields of work that you are, it makes it easier to get out of those ruts. But yeah, dude, there's days like I'll get on the laptop, I'll edit, I'm mid-edit, and I'm like, fuck, man, where was I going with this? And it's hard to kind of get back, and it's hard to tie things together. And for me, when I'm in those creative ruts, I get in my own head, and I'm like, I rethink stuff, and I want to go back to square one, even though I'll need to, and it's tough. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's like, there's no quick fix answer to get out of it, but I think as long as you try to self-motivate in some way, like it makes it a good way to get out of it.
On the lighter side of ruts, on the day-to-day, a lot. It's almost as if like every creative has ADHD or some shit.
Yeah, dude.
Have you figured out what works best for you to keep from bouncing around task to task, or just like task to distracting thing, and then back to task? Like, do you have a system for yourself, or is this still a work in progress for you, or is it even not a issue?
It's a work in progress. Again, it's like those tangible deadlines. It's like, okay, like I know I got this. I know I got something that needs to go up at 8 p.m. tonight from this time to this time. It's a non-negotiable time set where I'm going to be focusing in on it, And it's like a schedule. It's like putting yourself in your own 9 to 5 or putting yourself back in school, and you're like, I got this and I'm not compromising on it. Like if I want to get a fucking coffee, or if I want to fucking do something else, or my friends invite me to go hang out, like, nah, like this is my set fucking time, and I can't compromise. That's how it usually helps me, but that's more usually for the day to day, week to week. Because yeah, you're right. I feel like all creatives are undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah, man.
There's stuff that will pop off, dude, and you're like, oh fuck, and then you like, it's like a dog, like you're kind of like you're chasing something, you're like, oh
Squirrel.
shit, yeah, bro, and then you forget that you have priorities and commitments, and it's very easy to be that wide-eyed creative and that blue sky, and you're like, fuck, man, there's so much to do, and it's a lot harder to hone down and be like, okay, but that's gonna be there tomorrow, like if it like it's I've had a really tough time when I'm mid-project and the sunset's popping off. And I'm like, man, like I want to just break away really quick and capture this. But not, again, it's that reassuring thing that we touched on, that there's going to be dope sunsets tomorrow. Like you have commitments and you have stuff that you have to get done today. So
On the personal side of things, when you're not so worried too much about work, do you have habits in place that are non-negotiables for you as well? Like, do you have like any set morning routines, wind down routines? Like any physical goals that like you stay consistent? Like, are there any life habits that are really important to you?
for me, it's a new habit that I picked up. I used to run cross country in high school.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I got out of it. And I'm starting to, and I'm barely like this, like month one of getting back in this habit. And I filmed a run group last month, and it really motivated me to run for it.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of cool guys.
Shout
dude.
out to Run For It.
Yeah, dude.
Brady
It's
Thomas, all y'all.
really motivated me to be passionate about stuff outside of my craft. And like, that's a non-negotiable for me too. Like I'm running at least at very minimum 3 miles. I'm a little bit like a heavier guy. So it's harder trying to get back to that, like the goals I had when I was a little bit thinner in high school. But yeah, like that's stuff that, and it's funny enough when I'm in like mid runs, it helps because you're seeing perspectives. I live in like the Silla Vista neighborhood, and it's very like, very, very pretty neighborhood, older neighborhood. And you're able to see like, oh shit, that's an interesting shot I never thought of. Like between this street and this street, you get a nice perspective of the star or the Franklin Mountains, or like a view from downtown. Like it's able to kind of help keep me in tune with my work. Like it kind of, I start the day with that, and it helps the creative juices flow. That way, when I go into my process, it's a little bit more easier to get that engine going.
Morning runner.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I could run in the evenings, and I can lift in the mornings.
Yeah.
And there's something about lifting in the morning that's like the hardest part of my day's done.
Yeah.
Like everything else,
it's easy.
I'm looking down at it. Like, let's go. And as far as the running goes, daily, almost trying to.
Try to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like one of those commitments things that you want to be on.
And when you say in the morning, first thing in the morning, so this is around the 6 to 7 range.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's really cool, man. I feel like Run For It has definitely sparked up, just a little quick interlude, like they've definitely sparked a lot of people to just make running, like,
Definitely.
just enjoy the journey of it. I definitely have to get back into my journey. I was like getting really good at running. My times are starting to creep down. It's like these times I have never seen before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, because I stuck with it long enough. And then as soon as I got those times, I fell off again. And I was like, shit. It was like right after the half marathon this year.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, running is crazy, but also just like having that structure. With running, would you say that there's a lot of times where your mind is racing and you have to like stop it from racing because you have work to do, and running is like that opportunity for you to not just like find like new perspective, but like just let the mind go for a bit, rant in your own head. Obviously, you're not ranting aloud because you're probably using your breath and whatnot, but like it's that chance to just, it's therapeutic in that way.
It is. It always has been for me, even as a kid. And yeah, I think that's why in this season where it's like there's a lot of noise out there, having that like hour, 2 hours to where you can just block it off. And
Do you also like do walks?
yeah. If I'm like out of breath again, like I was a big runner as a kid. I fell off. I went to Run For It. What motivated me is that it's a community, and it's like you got runners that are competing in freaking half marathons, but then you got people just walking. Like there's no one discriminates on the path that certain people are on. Like it's just people going to have a fucking chill time and like walk or run with people that they like. And that was motivating for me because I think gym culture, it's very flashy nowadays, so it's hard to go
competitive.
Yeah, dude, it's hard to go in the gym and fucking like just do cardio.
That's why I go at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
That's why I go at 6 in the morning.
So that's been motivating for me. But yeah, like a runner or walk, it's real nice time to just like shut off all the noise and really kind of go into the finer, like hyper specifics of like what I want to achieve with certain projects. Like I don't have to worry about
all the endorphins are running.
Yeah, dude. Like, it helps me a lot. It helps me like calm me a little bit.
Do you have any pets?
I do.
Do you take them with you on the runs or
Yeah,
walks
I do.
sometimes?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so then are they big enough to go on a good little mile run? Multiple mile run?
They are. They're house dogs, man. So they
Oh,
get
so you're
winded as
winded?
hell,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all panting like they're
Yeah,
you're
bro.
like-
I have a little golden. Her name's Sylvie, and she's fit. Like she's not like overweight. She's fit, but we get like that mile stretch, and then she's fucking laying on the floor, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, come on, dude. We still got more to go.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a golden retriever.
Yeah, dude.
man.
So I'm very like It's funny. I feel like this is how parents feel with their kids sometimes. We're like, I can't take the kid out because it's gonna cut my time short. You know, like.
Oh yeah, but then as you get old, as the parent gets older, and then everyone in the family's going on like family drives somewhere, you're like,
Yeah.
oh god, mom's got to like stop
Yeah,
for the bathroom
dude.
again. So it flips around.
That's how I feel with the dogs, man. I'm like, yeah, if I'm taking the dog with me, I know it's gonna be a short day for the
Yeah.
run. You know.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I try to take my poodle way back. I used to try to take her on like these things, and she'd be done after a mile, and I'm like, shit, we got to do a mile back.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's got it in her. So now here I am for a mile, just carrying like a little 10-pound poodle.
Yeah, bro.
And it's just like silly. But I want to get a big dog because of that. I
Yeah.
feel like they'll take me on like crazy times. I'll be like, shit, man, I'm hitting 21 5Ks now, 21-minute 5Ks. Man, all the work that you've done, man, like, how would you describe your growing appreciation for the city?
Yeah.
I feel like in order for you to find this passion, there has to be like an innate love for it already.
No, for sure.
But you've met so many people like through this, like, what is the Frontera? What does La Frontera mean to you? What does the Sun City mean to you, man?
It means a lot to me. It means we live in a very unique city, and the people. I've been very fortunate to meet some amazing, talented people here, and I've been very fortunate to help guide folks. Man, there's a project that it hasn't aired yet, but they filmed a Hulu show here, or they're shopping it to Hulu, but they filmed out of towners from like L.A., San Francisco. They filmed here, and I was able to do some location scouting for them. So we went to like the Tap. I met the owner. Like went to different areas in town. Right here in Sunset Heights, current place. We filmed in houses, and what captivated me it's that the normal that we live in and the normal of the folks that we interact with. You bring somebody from out of town, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's the friendliest dude I've ever met in my fucking life," or "Holy crap, like that's like the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen." And I feel like once you learn to appreciate that as an El Pasoan, El Paso really becomes such an amazing community to you. Because how many times do we hear people that live here that, man, there's nothing to fucking do. It's a boring city. Like, the drivers suck. Oh, I mean, like, yeah, the drivers do kind of suck.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
one.
dude, I'll agree with that one too. But then they move out of town, and they're gone for like 5 years to a decade, and they move back, and they appreciate it so much more, I think...
Those drivers probably suck.
Oh, yeah, dude. Nah, but I think that's something that has helped me appreciate the city so much. And being intentional with going to different areas in town. Like, I did a lot of work out of the Northeast a few weeks back. Dude, going down Alabama or going down Hercules, like, you get some dope views, bro, that you'd never think about. Mm-hmm. And then, again, vice versa, going to Segundo Barrio, so much history in the murals, like in the infrastructure of the buildings, like the proximity to Juarez. Like, it's such cool shit, man. Like, and it's so unique to us. Because, I mean, yeah, big cities, they have their different boroughs. They have their different sides of town. But the fact that we're one of the largest border cities with another very large, like, big-ass city in Juarez, Like, and then we have New Mexico to our west. And then we have small towns like Marfa, Alpine to our east, Like, it's a very unique place. And, again, dude, very blessed to be able to attach myself to certain people and just be a fly in the wall and capture people's day to day and capture their artistic process. Like it's a huge blessing to be here.
How does it feel being on like the guest side right now, being the captured?
Honestly, I can't think about it too much, bro, because I hate being in front of the camera. I hate being in front of the camera, bro. But I think, yeah, you gotta shut down that critical like part of your brain.
When you're on the behind the camera,
yeah,
and somebody is feeling that same nervousness, how do you translate that to them? Like, how do you try to get somebody to feel comfortable?
I try to tell them, like, it's just a conversation. Like, don't even think about the cameras being there. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to give myself the same piece of advice right now, because
we were an hour and a half
dude,
in, man.
yeah, bro. Once the conversation's flowing, it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
Like, there's no mic, there's no headphones, there's no camera.
Oh, yeah.
It's just me and you. The three of us like talking right now, and that's where, all the natural stuff flows, and that's where you get like the magic in the words, But
oh yeah.
the minute, it took me a while, dude, because I had an art gallery in June, and I did a lot of stuff. I got on some podcasts, and I was interviewed by like the news, and still I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't know about that. But not once you break that barrier and you just get comfortable, and it's a conversation. I think, yeah, it's a lot easier, and that's
Oh,
why I
man.
promote for. It's nice because, again, interviewing people naturally in front of cameras, they just don't like it.
Yeah.
And being able to break that barrier and being able to make them comfortable as a filmmaker to like a subject,
Yeah.
like it's super liberating because by the time the shoot's all said and done, you're fucking friends with the guy,
Oh,
or the,
yeah,
or the gal, like it's super chill.
With photos, or yeah, let me ask this first, and then I have this other one that I want to follow up with. But like with photos, posing someone,
Yeah.
I think it's a little different than talking to someone. So like,
It is.
what's that journey been like for you? Because I suck at posing people. I don't know what to say. I just try to tell them what I would do, but it doesn't translate. Every model's different. Every subject's different. So how have you found your groove of like directing a subject for still photos, for portraits?
For me, it's all about trying to make the moment less staged as possible.
So you're a candid guy.
Yeah, I love the candid, even if it's like stage candid, because it's still there, But yeah, I suck at posing too, bro. Like I do like okay, let's twist it, and then you're gonna look and smile, and you're gonna look to the side, and one serious, like it took me a while to get out of that habit, and I'm like, fuck, man, like
Lifetime portraits.
yeah, dude,
Yeah, Walgreens, Macy's.
yeah, bro. But nah, I think candid it leans more to my style of photography.
Yeah.
And for me, it just helps people be more comfortable. They feel their body language. They don't feel like they need to stiffen up. They like it's able to capture somebody truly in their element as themselves.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the best for me. But yeah, do power to the. I have some friends, man. They have studios. They do some amazing studio work. They got some amazing poses knocked down. More power to them. I have a hard time
Do you
with that.
try to like save them and keep like a little catalog or in your back pocket?
Yeah, I would like if I like the way a photo comes out, like that a friend of mine does or somebody from out of town. I'll save it and I'll keep it in the back pocket and I'll be like, oh yeah, for future. But most times I hardly look at the saved files. It's usually like in the moment, like trying to blend the subject with the scenery or with the environment and make them one.
Like that photo you were talking about with the photos.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Even like a few years, it's crazy. That's a few years already. There's a friend of mine. She had just, thankfully, got over a cancer diagnosis, and her hair was growing back. And I was like, hey, like if you want to do a portrait, like let's go to, I believe it's the Archaeology Museum. They have a little trail right there in the foot of the Franklin Mountains by Trans Mountain Road. And I was like, let's go there during sunrise and just like capture some photos. And then like, I'm going to have you talk about your journey in the caption,
I know which photos.
And it was very candid. We didn't talk about posing. We didn't talk about what we were going to see. We didn't talk about goals. It was just like, okay, we're going to go and we get what we get. And some of my favorite sunrise photos came from that day, And that's how I usually try to operate each portrait session. It's kind of like, hey, we're in this together, like we're going to go with the moment, we're going to flow, and we're going to let whatever comes out of it come out of it. And usually for me, when it's led like that, you get some magic out of it,
Yeah, there's not too much like choreographing and
like
stuff
structure,
like that.
Yeah, because I feel like when there's more structure, people get more in their own head, and more
doing it right. Like, is my head tilted?
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Nah, I don't like that stuff.
What's your favorite lens?
It varies. Right now, I have a 50 millimeter f1.4. That's my favorite.
50 millimeters, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. I just got, I forgot what brand it was. I think it's Sigma. I just ordered, it was an impulse buy like at 2 a.m. A 10 to 15 millimeter f2.8.
10 to 15?
10 to 15. I love wide open shots.
Damn.
I love wide open shots. So we'll see how that goes. For a while, my favorite lens was a 16 to 35. But that 50 millimeters is a nice, healthy, like, you get like nice compression with it, Back in the day, I was a telephoto guy. I dragged along my fucking 70 to 200 everywhere I went, dude. I have back problems because of it, dude. Yeah.
That's insane. Do you ever mess with tilt shift?
Tilt shift, I have before. I have a hard time trying to find like a balance of it, but when you get it, man, I admire a good tilt shift photograph, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like what the people do, even with video, like they do like the miniature like scale, you know, to where it makes it look like a mini.
Little Lego set or something.
Yeah, dude. Like I think that's so like artistic. It's so cool.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to. That's one of the things that I'm trying to like kind of like adapt into. I don't want to make it like my thing, but it'd be cool just to fucking try it, you know?
Yeah.
Like going up to scenic and trying to get like a nice tilt shift.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I would say the 50 is my favorite lens, but I would love to master 16 to 35.
Yeah.
I've started to do more portraits with 35. I'll never zoom out with 16. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
But those 35s are nice. But that 50 was what we started with, and man.
Yeah, dude.
But I actually had to do some product photos this week, and I only had the 50, and I needed to get close, and I was like, shit, it's not capturing, man. Like, I guess I got to go manual, which I didn't. In this situation, I didn't, and then the next time, brought the wide angle, problem solved.
Yeah.
But man, like that was one of those reminders. Sometimes I'll forget like the importance of which lens you're going with.
Yeah.
Portraits, I'll only do those, but I would love an 85, man. I would really love an 85.
Dude, I had a.
There's something about zoom lenses that I tend not to go to.
Yeah.
16 to 35 is one of those like that you just like, oh, I gotta get
It's
one
your
of those.
standard one, yeah.
But like, I'd rather have a focal lens
A prime lens?
a prime lens for telephotos.
Yeah. I had an 85 1.8. I beat that lens to shit. That was like my everyday lens for a year,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, the portraits though,
Yeah,
the butter, man.
bro, it was
that
so
bokeh.
good. So good. I still have it. It's like, yeah, it's a little beat up. Like, I gotta go manual focus now, but it's I love that lens, dude. Like, I took that lens last year to Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, and
Oh, I think you had some killer shots.
yeah,
if I'm
dude. And
remembering
for
them
me, it's
right.
all about like where you're at. You know, like
Mhm.
if I get super close, you can get some nice detailed shots with it. But also, you hike a fucking mile back, you can get like a nice. It's like a wide, but it's compressed in. You know, like dude. Yeah, I love a good 85. A good 85 and 50. Like, I feel like if I had to pick, like forever lenses that I have always, it's one of those. And then like a wide, you know, like. But again, like we'll see how the 10 to 15 looks. If it's not too fucking
Fishbowl.
yeah, dude.
You're gonna see like the ring.
The vignetting in the sides, yeah, dude.
Man. So I know that we talked about posing. You're not allowed to say that. So what would be like an area right now within the craft that like you know and you're aware and you're trying to build on right now? There's a lot of room for improvement that you just haven't been able to address until now. What's that thing?
I want to get into off-camera flash photography.
Lighting,
Dude. Yeah, man. Because there's some great, like, with the right lighting, with the right flash kit, you can get some amazing shots. Especially with, I have some clients that I don't promote my nightlife stuff. I have some friends that they're like, hey, could you come by and just take some photos? And I've done, like, I have a flash that I use, and, like, you can get some cool shit, man. Like,
off camera.
off camera, yeah. Like, I've done one with the off camera flash where it's like a dragged, like a low shutter. Like, so you get like the subject in focus with the flash, and if you drag the camera, you get like that nice motion blur with it. Dude, it's some cool shit that you can do with it, man. And that's something that's intrigued me, and that's something that like it's one of those nice back pocket things to where when you're in the moment and you need it, it's there. But I really want to explore that a lot more. You know,
You have some like Godoxes or what you got?
I have a Godox I got from Amazon. I was super like I had no knowledge on flashes, dude, when I got it, and I was like,
man.
I was like, I need something quick. The Godox was like next day shipping, so I got it, and it's been my go-to. But I really wanna, and that's where YouTube comes in. You know, like really, even like people in the community that are badasses with on-camera and off-camera flash photography, getting with them, like, hey, what's your set look like? And coming at an angle, because some people are like, oh, you want to fucking copy my set, bro? Like, no, like, I'm interested, dude. Like, what's a good starting path or what's a good upgrade? I have the Godox, but what's the next step with it, you know? Because, yeah, there's some people that they put the fist up real quick, dude. You know, like, they're like, nah, dude, you're not fucking with my craft. You're not stealing my clients.
Yeah.
But nah, it's,
We got some Godoxes, I think, for real estate photography.
yeah.
And they've been cool, man. They're like the 80 200 Pros or
Yeah.
something like that, or 400. I forget which one, but man, they were so difficult to learn at first, and now I'm starting to. Well, honestly, that's one of those things that I'm a little frustrated with because like, I know I'm not putting the reps in, so every time is almost like starting from scratch again.
It's pretty liberating, though, huh? When you find, even if it's like a small win, but like once you get that shot that you're like, oh, fuck, this looks pretty badass.
Man.
It's
They're much more earned photos.
Yeah, man.
For sure. And there's something about them where you're like, this is probably what it's gonna be. Like
Yeah.
this is it out of camera. You know, instead of like the flash photos, I probably edit the least. They come out with the colors I want.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna use flash, chances are I'm not trying to change up colors.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, and I don't think I'm trying to change colors, but sometimes I'm going for like warmer photos that aren't really like that's not how they look. Looks like Breaking Bad when they're in Mexico.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know, like yellow.
Sicario.
Yeah, dude. But now
I got
lighting's so crazy,
yeah,
man.
bro.
Like
Lighting so
photo is such a beast, and then video I feel like is actually scarier because it's such a longer duration of stuff. You can rely so much on the pop of flash, but when you don't have that and you actually have to like make sure it's good always, it's not it's constantly on. Like, oh man.
you see, I find it reverse. Constant lighting, I think, with video.
Oh, you're
it's,
right.
It's
you're
so
right,
much. It's
you're
so
right.
much easier for me, man. But
It makes
getting
sense, it makes
getting
sense.
photography with the good lighting, it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
A little bit tougher. Going back to your Breaking Bad Mexico thing, dude, I got a comment a few weeks ago on my thing. And it was just like a really nice sunset that popped out orange. And they're like, all right, bro, stop making this shit look like Mexico and Breaking Bad, dude. And I'm like, bro, like, I didn't even tweak the colors that much, man.
You're like,
But
look
that-
outside.
Yeah, bro. But nah, it's so funny when, you see people. And I think when you have a specific LUT with the photo, it's very easy to go heavy on the oranges or heavy on the, the green highlights to where, it looks a little bit like goofy. And you use the excuse like, oh, it's my look. But yeah, I'm just grateful that I found a nice balance to where it's kind of muted and not too fucking blown out orange or blown out, like Mexico Breaking Bad-ish. So
Yeah, I don't like deep frying my photos.
yeah,
bro.
oh dude, when you put clarity all the way up, bro.
Clarity,
Dude.
yeah, dude, the clarity, bro. Deep fry it, bro. Same thing with the saturation. I've actually been leaning towards desaturating all my photos
Yeah.
just a slight bit, like where they have that raw look.
Yeah.
But just slightly, man. I just don't like when colors pop too much. There's been too many times where like I'm going for that, and the next thing you know, when I export the photo, like some shit in the bottom right corner that I didn't see was like all blown out and
Yeah.
on that. It's just too much. Like, nah, I don't like it. And there's been times like on Twitter or something where I'll see like before and afters of people's photos, and I'm like, the raw looks better because you cooked it. Like you cooked it too much, man. But that's subjective.
Yeah.
All subjective. Yeah, desaturating photos are the thing right now. As far as the LUTs go, I've never really used LUTs, to be honest. I kind of just like edit photos, and then with video, we're not shooting 4K and we're not even shooting RAW yet. So I think like that's something we're excited to get into.
Yeah.
But it all comes with the gear. you
No,
know?
for sure.
What are you shooting with?
I shoot with right now. I have a FX30 for my videos, and then I also have a FX3 at my disposal.
Sony's?
Sony's, yeah. And then for photo, I was a Canon guy, man. I have 5D Mark IV, but I have a Sony A7 III for all my stills right now. I've been rocking with that for the past. I've been full Sony for the past like 3 years, and I miss Canon because like the natural contrast is so nice. Like, you hardly had to touch the photo in post, but with Sony, I shoot flat colored, so like I'm into the
Yeah,
minor
dude,
fucking
that's crazy.
details,
I've seen more like of that raw look on a Sony photo than
Yeah.
any of these. It's crazy. Sometimes I'll think that we're doing something wrong because I'm like, photos they're supposed to look flat, but they
Yeah.
kind of have their punch already. And I'm like, that's weird. But I guess that's why Canon is always getting those same compliments. about
Yeah,
color.
man. With Sony, you definitely have to work harder to make the photo look good. With Canon, it's very again if you have the settings on right, and if you got it framed nicely in the subject and the background is fucking killer, you hardly have to do any work. But with Sony, yeah, you have to put in that work.
Yeah, I think that's why we stay with Canon.
Yeah, I might go back, dude. I think it's the R8 or the R6 that just came out. That a friend of mine, I was at a gig and he showed me. I was like, fuck, dude, this is badass, man. I might make the jump back, but I've invested so much into Sony.
Oh yeah, I
I
bet.
might sync with the ship, dude. Yeah, the E-mount like lenses itself, dude. I don't want to. Yeah, bro, I don't want to mess
Yeah.
with that. You know.
That's how I am with probably like Apple.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
just too deep into Apple at this point, man. Like iCloud.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, I can't take that. to
AirDrop.
Android.
AirDrop. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's clutch.
Yeah, dude.
Some people will say the best feature is when like you're waiting for somebody to text you the authentication code.
And it pops up.
AirDrop is way better, dude. I've been able to share like photos that I just sent from my Mac to my phone.
Yeah.
PDFs.
Yeah, man.
Videos, dude. Oh yeah, dude. AirDrop's easily the best thing, I think, with iPhones.
Yeah, I will say I don't know how my workload looks without Apple, because it makes it so much quicker. I can bypass the whole Google Drives and the Dropbox shit.
Emailing
Yeah,
photos to
yeah,
yourself,
dude.
just to save them the
Dude,
same way.
I was cleaning out an email that I had all the way back until 2013, and yeah, one of the first emails was like some high school football pictures, bro, at JPEG format.
JPEGs. Oh
It's
man,
crazy.
dude. Yeah, man. Being a creative, bro. Let's end off on let's try to share some game
Yeah.
with the young with people that are up and coming. Like, what do you think? New creatives, people who are barely exploring and scratching that itch. What do you think's like one of the most important values for them to learn like early on rather than later? Too many people learn it later, and it'd
Yeah.
just be so much better for their career if they learned it sooner. What do you think those types of things look like?
For me, a big one would be whatever you have in your hand, just use that and go out and do what you want to do. So often, I feel like people get in their own heads and they're like, fuck, dude, that's a nice. I want to, like, I have this image in my head for like a short movie or like a photo or a photo shoot, but I don't have the gear. I started off with a $300 fucking Canon, you know? And arguably the picture quality wasn't great, but I mean, it did the job, you know? And for me, that was, I used that to go out and just shoot. Like, I was shooting consistently even as a kid. And the stuff I learned while shooting at a consistent rate, I feel like is what led me to the point to where I'm at now as an artist. And yeah, man, it would just be that. Like, when no matter what type of gear you have, if it's cheap, if it's expensive, just use that and do what you want to do. And eventually, with the grind, you'll get to where you want to be with the tools that you want. But yeah, dude, I've heard that excuse so much.
The gear.
The gear, man. Oh, it's because I don't have the expensive gear. Oh, I don't got the
Look
expensive
at that
drone.
6D that's right there in the
Yeah,
center.
and it's dude, and your
Guys
guys'
use that 6D
bro,
too.
and your guys' stuff is like fucking clean. Like, I was watching a podcast the other day. I'm like, damn, this is cool. You know,
Yeah.
it's good quality. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, I feel like it's one like we get in our own heads so much, and we let little excuses dictate. You know, like
And that goes
our
beyond
growth.
creativity.
Yeah, dude.
Just personal life too.
Absolutely. So that would be my biggest advice because, yeah, especially now when the comparison game is at an all time high.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so easy to be like, fuck. Well, I need $1,000 to buy a Sony or a DJI drone to even get to the level that guy's at. Nah, dude. Use what you have and fucking work your ass off. Because at the end of the day, hard work, consistency, and dedication is gonna go beyond talent.
Yeah. Let me throw you a little curveball. If your drones,
Yeah.
like let's say you have multiple right now, like they all just broke.
Yeah.
What would be your mindset and what would be your bounce back? Would you rush into buying a new one, or would you be like, hold on, like let me make sure it's a smart. Let me let you explain how
Yeah.
to approach it.
Yeah, for me it would be I wouldn't
Like let's put you in a situation now with everything you've learned this far and still in the position that you're in, audience size wise and
Yeah.
everything, and all your gear just boom shut down on you for some reason. Like, your experience, where does that take you? Like, let's use that as an example to
Yeah.
help like new creatives kind of grasp that a little bit easier.
No, for sure. I would relook if I needed certain gear. Like, truth be told, I've been doing the drone game for like 3 years now. I have a lot of like stock footage that I can always go back to. If the, I've been there. I mean, I had a drone break on me once, and I was out of commission for like a couple months,
Damn.
and it sucked. But I was like, okay, but for a lot of projects, the drone is the wow factor. You just have to work harder in different aspects. It's like, I might not have the drone, but how could I fucking replace that shot with something cooler? Let's do a time lapse, you know? I just need my camera for that. And all I have is my A7 III's down, but I have an A6400. Okay, let's see what this little camera could do. It can do time lapses too. Okay, cool. That's gonna be my main shot, you know? It's just problem solving with the resources that you have and not freaking out and being like, fuck, I need to spend all my savings right now to go get the freaking DJI Mavic because, oh fuck, I need it. You know, like, no, like, look at what you have, problem solve, create tangible task and tangible deadlines that you can do to get the money and buy your stuff back at the proper time and not rush into it, you know? Yeah, I feel like people freak out too much in those situations. I mean, I've been there. It's shitty. It sucks.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
when you have gear go down on you, but that's where you pull your resources and you make it work. It also doesn't help. It also helps to have a community that you can lean on the amount of times, man, where I have buds that they're like, dude, my lighting went down. Can I borrow your lights? Or hey, bro, like I lent my drone out and I need a drone. Can I borrow it? Or can I borrow your B cam? Like, and I'm like, absolutely, man. Because I know if I'm ever in a fucking pickle, I can lean to those people and they can help me out. You know, like that's also another thing. Like having that avenue, having that community.
Collaborate, don't compete.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That shit will. It's funny, man. I have a story back in like before I got big into social media. I went to Taco Neta and then I went to the workspace right next to it.
Yeah.
I met a really cool guy. His name is Richard. And again, we made an impression on each other. And we're like, yeah, man, nice to meet you. Cool. And we went our separate ways. A few years later, he hits me up from the Fly El Paso page. He's one of the head marketing guys for the airport now. And he's like, hey, you remember me? I met you at Working Capital. And you popped in my head for this project. We want to do like a drone safety project. You popped in my head. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I met that guy. He's super fucking cool. And yeah, bro, I got to fly my drone at the airport. First guy to do it outside of like an airport employee. Super sketchy, super fun, you know? Like doing it legally with the FAA, like approved stuff and having like an FAA operator there with me, kind of like making sure I don't fuck up. Supervising, but it's one of those things like I never would have had that opportunity if I walked in and if I was a dick to that guy, you know, about drones, yeah, dude. But I think, and that's what goes back to like morally just being a good person, because meeting people, keeping your bridges intact, you know, like not leading with ego, but leading with like that sense of love for the community. It's gonna come back at you, dude. Like in a positive light, you know, the people that you meet, the relationships that you build. I could have walked into Working Capital and blew that guy off, or like not really, you know, be friendly or be approachable, and then I would have missed the opportunity, you know. So, yeah, that would be my advice.
That ain't even for new creatives. I could take that a bit too, man. Yeah. I can walk away with that too, like,
because call it God, call it the universe, man, like karma, whatever. That shit finds a way to come back at you, in a good or bad, you know. Like I that's a big lesson I've learned in life.
And it's crazy. We're hitting a full circle moment, because in the beginning you said you give, or you get what you get.
Absolutely,
man. Christian churches, man. One more time. But boy, Christian, it's an honor, man. It's so gratifying to just listen to somebody who's been able to hit certain milestones and like be humble about it still, man. Like it's really easy to gain ego, and it's so hard to kill it. And like it's a lifelong process to try to kill it. And not to say that you've succeeded, like, you know, it's 100% dead or whatever the case is, but like just the way you're able to navigate your profession and where you are within it, it's really like, it's eye-opening, man. There's a lot to learn from it, and it's an honor to hear from you, for sure, man.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on, man. You guys have a dope thing going here, bro. Keep on at it, man.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
We'll have to like throw some drones up, man.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Like, absolutely, bro.
Yeah. We only have like 20 minutes at a time, but at least for me, I'm sure that the batteries probably last a little longer as like the...
Yeah, for me, I went from the Air 2S was like 25 minutes, and now I'm like 40 minutes for one flight.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's nice, dude. It comes in handy. But definitely hit me up whenever, bro. Let's go flying.
Yeah, of course. One more question.
Yeah.
Getting the pilot certification.
Yes. Part 107.
Can we close that? Can we close on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Was that a pain in the ass?
It was. But truth be told, it's needed.
Okay.
A Part 107 license. A lot of people... Drones are so available to everybody now. You can go to Best Buy, and even if you got like $300 in your pocket, you can buy a little cheap drone. If you want to make money with your drone, if you're a small business, if you're a local creative, and you want to make some passive income, you need your Part 107 license. Like, that's a necessity. Like, you can't get around that. Because if you're flying without that and the FAA catches you, it's a big fine on you, and it's a big fine on the business that you're working with. So you lose all credibility as a professional drone pilot. Also,
I tried to pop one up by Silla Vista, it didn't work.
Dude, yeah, man.
I was just trying to take a real estate photo, man.
Also, it's good for like educational purposes, because a lot of people don't know that you can't fly by the airport. A lot of people don't know that you can't fly in and around Fort Bliss airspace. You know, I would really promote people to really get educated with drone flying, because, yeah, dude, like it's you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of that one day because it's a hefty fine and it's even jail time if you're caught flying reckless. There's a couple of pilots, man, that even like a key thing like operations over people,
Yeah.
you need a waiver for that.
Yeah.
Like flying at night, you need a waiver for that if you don't have the right drone, if you don't have the right licensing, and if you get caught, man, it's not pretty. It's not good. So.
Where do you recommend people go to? Is there one site or is there like a bunch of different places you can get one?
Yeah, so if you go to faadronezone.org, I believe, that gives you all the tools that you need to get started. I think it's $5 to register your drone, and once your drone's registered, and if you want to do the Part 107, it gives you some. I believe there's a cost to it. I don't know if it's $150 or if it's $100, but you have to pay to get the Part 107 exam, and then it'll give you some information for testing centers around town. Super quick. You go in for the test, and if you pass it, you get the certificate right then and there. And then they ship you your FAA ID. And then once you're flying with a client, and if you get approached by PD or anybody,
You're good.
you pull that out, and you're good. You know, as long as you're flying safe.
You been approached yet?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last, I was doing some work with the city last Winterfest. It was coordinated. We didn't have a fly operation over people waiver, but we were able to get around it by hovering on top of a parking garage.
Okay.
Still, I got PD approached me, and I pulled out my Part 107. We explained it. It's
Is it
kind
like
of
a paper or is it something you can pull up on your phone?
yeah. It's something I have right here in the wallet, and I'll
Ah.
yeah. Let me get it real quick.
You about to see a Part 107, baby.
I don't think there's anything you need to blur, but yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it just gives like your info, the fact that you're a certified remote pilot, officially with the FAA. And that's usually all they need. I will say though, getting your Part 107 does not give you permission to fly like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
for sure.
like I've seen some sketchy shit out of town and in town. And truth be told, you have to be. It's like driving. Like you get your car license, you can't freaking pop up on the damn sidewalk and like do some dumb shit, you know. So always be a safe pilot. Always be cautious of where you're at, the airspace that you're at. Because again, like going in for the exam, you learn. Even studying for the exam, you learn your airspace certifications in the classes. Like there's Class D, Class C, you know, and there's certain like airspaces that you can't fly in, like the airport, you know, and military like installations. But you're a little bit more open, you know. You learn your ceiling height, you know, your radius of how far you can fly, how high you can fly, stuff like that. But then again, like, I don't know, there's a lot of technicals that get into it, and I would just encourage people to get knowledge, you know, with it, because it'll save your ass one day.
It seems like a lot of it's on paper.
Yeah.
How much of a better flyer did you become by just going through the course?
A lot better.
Okay.
It really helped me understand the logistics of my drone that I knew naturally. Like, I knew, like, fuck, man, like, troubleshooting. Like, if your drone's on the fritz, you
While it's in the air, too?
if it's in the air, you automatically want to panic.
Yeah.
What the course teaches you, it's like, look, you got to be calm to troubleshoot. You know, like, you can't freak the heck out. Like, you try to bring it down. If not, you know, locate where, like, the impact zone was. Did it hit something? Because if you make contact, like, if your drone falls out of the sky and it hits a building, you have to report it to the FAA, you know? Like, you have to, there's certain parameters you have to do. And you're not in trouble. I mean, like, unless you break those parameters, it's all protocol. You know, you're not really, unless, like, you hit somebody, you're not in trouble. You know, you just have to take proper steps to take care of it, you know? And I think it was it gave me peace of mind while flying. That's what the course gave me. Because before the course, I mean, I never flew for money, but I would fly, like, casually, like, as a hobbyist.
Yeah.
And still, man, you're looking over your shoulder, you see a chopper come by, you don't know what the fuck to do. You know, if you land it, if you keep it in the air. Going through the course really answers all those questions for you. And it keeps you flying legal and safe, man.
Yeah, man. You never know.
You never know,
You
man.
get too confident when nobody checking on you, and
Dude,
next thing you know,
yeah,
boom.
bro. And there's a lot of
Where's your FAA?
dude. The last thing you want to do is get caught like lacking like that, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just for safety, man. It's you don't want to fly reckless, and you don't want enough people flying recklessly that the FAA feels the need to take this stuff away from us.
Yeah.
Because it's a true art form, man. Like drone photography and videography, you can do amazing stuff with it. So, last thing I want as a drone op is for someone to do something dumb, and then I have to sell my drone or I can't fly it or operate it anymore because they shut down the skies. So
It's gonna be like the prohibition.
yeah, dude.
People are gonna be flying drones like on secret.
I'm gonna pay it.
They're gonna like tape. They're gonna put black tape over all the lights at
Yeah,
night,
dude.
just to like hide it, dude. It's gonna be a stealth machine.
Just hear it.
B-52. Yeah, dude.
Put some feathers on and make it look like a bird.
Yeah, yeah. Straight up, man. Shh, Christian, one more time, bro. That was a good little outro.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. Man, the plug's gonna be easy, but where can people find you, bro? Where can people see all your work? Is it only on Instagram? Where else can they see everything you got?
For now, it's on Instagram at Christian Churches. I'm always doing collaborations with local businesses. I have a couple of photo galleries I've had my work on. I'll always update that stuff through my Instagram, though. So if you want to see what's going on, go to the Instagram.
If they want to buy the book or anything like that, they can find it through there
You
too.
can find it through there, too. Yeah, I got a link in the bio.
Oh yeah.
I ship it to all places, man. I shipped a book to Hawaii last week.
Ooh.
Super cool, man. Super cool. But yeah, wherever you're at, I can ship you a book. And all the new work is on Instagram.
Congrats on everything, man, so far, man. I wish you the most success moving forward. Just like you said, after a long conversation, next you know you're friends with a person. So
Yeah, man.
hopefully we can call each other friends, man.
Absolutely, bro.
Look forward to hopefully seeing some collaborations in our way in the future. But also more importantly, man, I'm excited to see another person who's consistent and finds like fulfillment with their work, because that's when you see the best version of it. So thank you again
definitely.
one more time. Can't thank you enough, bro.
Vice
Straight up.
versa, man. You guys are really passionate about what you do, man, and I love it. I love to see it, man. So, to more success for y'all as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, man. That's how we do it over here, though, at the HQ. Boy, Legends Only in the building. Yes, sir. Hey, make sure that you guys show love to all the platforms. You can find all of our full-length episodes on YouTube, Midnight Sessions, live at MFHQ. Of course, you can find them all on our website, mfpearl.com. Or if you're finding it on your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Pod, Amazon Music, give it a like, share it, give it a rating, save it, whatever you could do to spread love on those platforms. It goes a long way. But of course, at the end of it all, if you ever want to stay in tune with the most up-to-date info, probably going to find that on our Instagram at MFPearl. But that's how we're going to do it, y'all. So that's going to be the end of episode number 33. We'll see you guys on the next Wednesday. It ain't no different. Legends Only, live at MFHQ. Yup.